crow flies, or as the radio signal propagates. It's probably a few miles more than that. I was particularly impressed with that, doing it with less than 100 watts in a dipole antenna. That's something I wanted to brag about this evening and just let you know it's possible, and keep your ears open when you're out there on HF. Let me pause one more time and see if we've got any more check-ins for tonight's DRL FunNet. If you're out there listening and would like to join in the conversation, we welcome you to join us. Call in now with your call sign and your name.
I don't think it starts by copying. I think you have to find an absolute somebody. And the best you can, the best line.
We don't want to
Finally find that quarterback, that guy you absolutely.
It's not yet, anyways. Hey, Stephen. What's up?
Code 4 on gang 1 and 1844.
Just eavesdropping on some radio chatter, man. This video's all for you, man. You get to see what it's going to pick up and all that. It's looking at the full database of Colorado.
Thanks. Good night from all.
He has not called me back as we're going back across. Okay.
King the Hill. Yeah, sorry, Sam. It's what happens when
1887.
when you're the only one that knows how to do anything. Everyone calls you, and they keep calling.
25 copy clear.
That's why I know no AI could ever replace my job.
Yes, dispatch, over.
RTDP, find dispatch, go ahead over.
Yes, ma'am, I'm still only showing 2 caps of 4027. Request authorization to flip the WiMAX breakers over.
Yes, sir, that is correct. You do have authorization to post to a WiMAX breaker. Just let me know if it does.
Oops.
Can to parties agreed to share information while we clear. No, for Like 102, respond emergent on a hemorrhage 644 North Evanston Street, map is 6 Henry 4, code up on EMS 6, type 2.
102 copies.
102, 1948, break 116 to the traffic. 116 is clear.
Were those 270 and 275 switches cycles?
No, I wasn't sure if they closed Colfax both directions or just one direction.
What the hell is that? Oh, we got some people playing around now. I guess a ham FUD is having a seizure. Oh, there's a screw in here. Right hand, check the size. There it is. Who's the one person I got in here?
This one in. I'm almost finished with The Wire, and I'm looking for another good show to binge. What's the best TV show ever made? W0 TV, K3D.
Lakewood. Hello. What's going on? Hey, what room do you have put in and then we go in tomorrow?
Who's there? 6 she's still over here? The stuff back in the pending and put me on the welfare with 26.
Would you like to make a quick call before we begin the team's Colorado Connection Thursday night net? Now would be an excellent time. M0XGA, K0MCC will be your stern monitor for the Colorado net, and I'll be standing by, K0MCC.
This is KE0NRE. We'll be closing the Denver Radio League's Fun Net for the evening. Thanks to everyone for participating tonight. We had a fascinating discussion about a lot of different radio topics. I look forward to hearing all of you again next week, 7:30 p.m. local time, same repeater frequency. This is KE0NRE. Please stand by for net tones.
Net mode off.
This repeater is now returned to a normal operation. KE0NRE clear.
Okay. 2000.
About 5'10", probably about 200 pounds, wearing all green coat, green pants, black tennis shoes.
Got it, thank you.
So you're just advising Parker's on divert now?
45 copies, we'll go to Sky Ridge.
Easy.
Yep.
344 control. 344. I'll be on duty for the night, car 352.
Copy that.
Well, it's a good thing I had that phone calls come in. I had 7 people in my video,
Have you
and
tried the reset, general
7
reset button
hellos, so
on the train over?
Looks like some.
Yes, I have,
bots
and it
are
just
gone.
comes back. Fall lights. The only one blinking on 4006. Over.
Alright, copy that, thank you. I'll get that report to go special.
Could bypass the industry ABST signal, run on the all walks if needed, and look for 8-track assignment at 30th and Devon.
All traffic from A through M. Go, Jim in Monta Vista. Good copy, Jim. Thanks for checking in. I had it on it. It's next station. This is Alpha Bravo 8 Zulu Zulu. That's Alpha Bravo 8 Zulu Zulu. Lauren, Monta Vista. Roger that. Alpha Bravo 8. Lauren, good copy. Next station.
November 0, Henry, Queen David's on. Good morning.
Copy that, Don. S0 Henry, Queen David. Next station.
Well, Bluegrass, not much going on. Just listening to in some on some radio chatter.
Kilo Echo 0 Uniform 8 Kilo Troy out of Manchester. And next station, please.
This is Kilo Echo 0. Uniform Yankee Kilo. That wasn't me, Lyle.
Oh, sorry about that. We'll have you check it now that Troy. But I couldn't. So the station before Troy, please say again. Kilo Echo 0, Delta Hotel Uniform. Can anyone forward the name and location, please?
That's right. Next call is you're volunteering. I'm trying to get fixed to as low as is practical. Important that we'd like to support the system, yes, in many ways. Most helpful ways, donations of money.
For no reason, how's it going? Just listening in on some radio chatter.
Pretty big when you got the institutions out there, you can imagine. But certainly not the only method of supporting the system. Donations of equipment are appreciated. If repeat equipment is used directly, great. If it's not repeat equipment or it's not hand-made equipment, it's something a bit unusual that we do take here in handfast. Just let one of the contacts on the website know. And if we can't take it, we'll gladly do so. Donations of time and talent are also appreciated. Not a whole lot going on during the winter. Most of our feature sites are not accessible. And all kind of gets concentrated during the mid to late summer when the sites are accessible. You're not being obstructed by snow or mud. But that's about work parties and we sign up for our mailing list. And again, kind of quiet here for a bit, but kind of lively up a bit during the summer. Any other call-ins? AUN, relay. Go ahead, W6AUN. Wade, did you copy Jerry, AG7U? Yes, I was just waiting for a couple more before I read back, but I did catch AG7U and also W0KI. If I want to check the footage too, see if it is that you have the full description of that guy. But copy that. I'm rewinding slowly but surely. Copy that. I will be in a second. There's my supervisor in the break room. I'm going to find out the door you got there real quick. Chilton 4 Alpha, copy 29.
Yeah, 2010.
House ready.
How to relocate. For those joining in, just some random radio chatter. Was that searching a full database? Yeah, my headphones are dead, so if I can't listen to music, then I listen to this. Pretty entertaining.
It would have probably been great if some more people could have been chimed in on what was going on, but I think they were in the mercy of somebody getting there first. And there'll be a lot after that.
November 0, signal Quebec, November 0, Quebec, John and Alamos.
Be quiet. Too much static. you to record. Dang it. Moved.
The emergency position indicating radio beacon. And having been on the aircraft many years of my life, I know that when those go in, they automatically start transmitting the beacon. So perhaps, and I'm just saying perhaps, if the captain of the SS Californian would have received a beacon, a distress beacon, he might have moved forward with a little bit more haste. Unknown, and not laying blame, just my 2 cents. Randy, you're next, K0TNG.
Hey, thanks, Pete, for taking the nets, K0TNG. Actually, to be totally honest, the radios were working just fine for those ships that actually had the radios. I mean, there was a spark gap type of transmission, and I think that the CW they were sending, would have probably been received by everybody. But there are several issues dealing with procedures. First of all, shooting off the rockets was not anything and this is based on what I've read over the years. Shooting the rockets off didn't necessarily mean that there was a distress. They didn't have procedures for being on the air for 24 hours. A lot of the CW traffic or radio traffic was actually commercial, and the guys got paid based on number of messages they were passing and things like that. Break. So basically, it comes down to procedures. There weren't procedures in place for what to do if there was an emergency like that, and otherwise the Californian probably would have found their way over there. But again, they really didn't know, and I think there's another point that I'm forgetting about that, but it just really comes down to that. So, for modern communications, unless there's procedures in place on how to react, it's just a lot of radio traffic, kind of like what we're doing right now.
Hey,
so,
that guy's absolutely correct.
7-3, everybody.
No
I'll be
procedures.
standing by. Back to net.
Yeah, you're correct, Randy. The Titanic was fitted with some of the best wireless equipment available, made by Marconi, and the radio room was staffed by Marconi employees as well. But there wasn't an established practice of keeping a clear channel for emergency communications. After the Titanic sank, part of the outcome of the investigation was the International Radio Telegraph Conference and Radio Act of 1912, in which some of the things they brought up were the need for 24-hour radio operators and established frequencies for emergencies. The 600-meter, I think, wavelength would be used just for ships at sea. They also implemented rulings to reduce interference from smart transmitters like you brought up. Okay, Dane KG5 SOR, you're next.
Good evening, Lynette, KG5 SOR. I think the question was if you had today's modern communication equipment, would it affect the outcome? I think absolutely yes, because between cell phones and satellite phones and telexes, and there would have been several alternative ways to wake up the captain of the Californian and get on over there. So I think if we were given more modern communications, they might have got over there sooner and got out their lifeboats and saved the day. Back to net, KG5 SOR.
Yeah, so interesting little tidbit there. When the Titanic collided with the iceberg, the radio operator on the Carpathia, Harold Cottam,
He was still actually awake. He wasn't on duty, but he was awake and just listening to the radio when he heard the distress call. KF0AER. Tom, you're up.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking the net, Pete, KF0AER. I can't add anything of any kind of expertise. I kind of agree with Dane. I think it depends on the technology we're talking about. It seems as though multiple radio-ish RF technologies could have done something in terms of warning systems and things, but it was mostly the lack of knowledge or procedures or any practice in this kind of thing probably that led to it. And I think also, even today, the hubris of man and human fallibility, thinking things will never break and thinking things are always going to be okay, probably plays into it even today with our modern technology. So who knows? Break here. Just a little side note. I had a great aunt who was scheduled to go on the Titanic as a young woman, married woman, and she canceled at the last minute and never made it onto the ship. So there you go. Cancer AER back to that.
Well, that is a truly lucky woman, no doubt about that. So, Brian, WA0R, you're up.
Good evening to everyone else as well. This is Brian, WA0. WA0R. I'm going to I agree with others about modern communications would have made a difference, and just VHF Marine would have gotten to the Californians. But I'm going to step farther and sort of cheat just a tad. Modern communications would have been a modern radar, so they would have known that an iceberg was there before they hit it. That's my cheat. WA0R.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, I agree. Modern radar would have been great. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, all of the ships around the Titanic had been warned of the ice, and the Titanic was actually sending out messages from its passengers to the shore, and that was what was tying up the radio. That's why the Californian shut down her radio. Titanic was picking up interference, and remuted her, and she shut down her radio so as not to create more interference. So I don't think that you're able to send out messages the way you used to be. That was more of a novelty back then. Whiskey Delta, Victor, you're next.
You're supposed to move on. Oh, there we go.
Really?
Free off Echo. taking the net. Being on the tail end of the pack here, I've been sitting here thinking about this. You mentioned that the California was surrounded by ice, only 10 miles away. I don't think, in my personal observation, that modern radios would have made a whole lot of difference, but the California could have
ignore
gone.
you guys.
No fire.
I guess it's a good time to move again. Oh, hold on. Make sure this works.
Clear for your call. Thanks for your help today.
Copy, thank you.
Oh, what's going on there? Yeah, shut up. I'll ignore you. And we go on another journey. Shut that one up too. 2 people. Who's all still here? Uh, Uh-oh. I asked who's still here and it scared one away. Don't stay at hotels, they're nasty. GPS school radios. Okay, yeah, we don't want to listen to that.
You know, it'll, as long as it covers the hole, you know, no big deal. And the hole's not that big behind the cover, I don't think so. It should probably work out okay. Yep, I figured if it wasn't the right size, we could always just kind of redo that piece of trim board underneath it. It'll be fine. I'm just hoping that the contact in that one turned up. The one I got says it's handles 40 amps. That ought to be plenty. So I would like to be able to set up a roaming so that it can ping the repeaters going long down the freeway.
So I did that, and I have some advice. So if you haven't already done so, you know, from the Rocky Mountain Hub website, you can download their sample code plug. And in their sample code plug, they have the roaming list built for the RM ham repeaters, which is what you want to be on, especially when you drive south. But you know, anywhere outside the front range. And Randy's root code plug, it had some of the initial repeaters for the RM ham network built into it, and I found that the names were different, and they added the repeater out east. I'm trying to think of what repeater that is, but anyway, there's a couple of repeaters that are missing. It's best to start with the Rocky Mountain ham example roaming list when you are ready to do that.
K7AIH.
Go ahead.
In DMR roaming, your radio should not be transmitting periodically. The passive site roam. There is, on Motorola's, you can do an active site roam. It will bust through all of the sites in that list and try and find the closest one, but your radio, your subscriber, is not transmitting to the infrastructure periodically. Devastating to the infrastructure and that channel, if it were. It's doing something internally. It's periodically scanning all of the channels in that list, building an RSSI array, and then switching to the strongest one. I suspect that's what that 20-second, 30-second is.
Mike, you know, the Anytones, they are actively transmitting. So there must be a ping command that you can send to a repeater to get it to respond digitally where it doesn't open up the squelch. But if you watch the LEDs, you'll see it periodically transmit.
It should be setting to turn that off. It is an unidentified transmission because the DMR ID is not a valid identification for SMC. Even kicking off the manual site roam on a Motorola is technically not legal.
Yeah, the way that Motorola does roaming is they do it right. So I've heard from others that the way that Anytones do it is not the right way, or it's not as well done as Motorola.
Yeah, I'd be interested to learn a little bit more about that, because that's unusual, and I could see, you know, as the driver scales up, you know, that repeater is going to be handling a lot of traffic and just no ops, just data going back and forth. The radios can and do transmit without transmitting on a talk group. Typically it's the infrastructure that goes out and says, hey, here I am, here's my color code, timing, synchronization, for which time slots which for the subscribers. But the subscriber itself shouldn't need to reach out unless it's in an active site roam or requesting a specific talk path, K7AIH.
Well, this is K010 WJF. I greatly appreciate the insight from you guys. I will definitely go out to Rocky Mountain Hands website, pull down that code plug, and then break it open here in the hopefully next month or so. There's a lot on my plate right now, so I can't do it now, but this is something that I would like to do. This is K0WJF, clear.
Hey Wade, something that I did suggest to Jerry, and I'll suggest it to you, is that when we do that future DMR workshop, that roaming would be a good session, a good module.
Excellent, excellent. We will definitely keep that on our radar.
7-3 is W6AUN.
So Kenwood had roaming. They sent a feature request, and the infrastructure is there in Armada. But that is the one feature on this radio I really miss. Keep it down.
Thanks for your input, Mike. Take care. W6AUN clear.
No problem. Nice to be home for a couple days. Be back on the road for another 5 or 6 weeks. So, K7AIH.
Thanks, Mike, for your service and for your time this evening. Appreciate your expertise. K0 and WJF clear.
From either my friend Lee or member old Mr. Clean. I think he's still working up there, and he's always like, Howie, anytime you need a ticket, let me know.
That appointment for one of the dogs, so I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, because I know that you wanted to see Jerry's demo on using WinLink and with an Anytone radio. So that's too bad. Well, I hope your pup is going to do better. Yeah, just in for regular vaccinations and stuff. That we have to do the test for heartworm before they can do the heartworm medicine, and this was the only time slot they had open. So I'll free separately and get a hands-on demo. I'd like to see it. Understand. Take care. W0BDT, W6AUN. W6AUN, W0BDT, I'm clear. Have a good night.
Oh, yeah, Ed. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, I don't have anything planned. We'll watch the game. Supposed to snow. Got kind of windy this afternoon. Went out. I had the camp taken apart. We had to use the pickup truck for a while. The way they were. The dude next door is moving back to Hawaii, so we're helping him move all the stuff in his stuff. Now I put the pickup back together, put the camper back on. Take it around the yard here. Not snowing yet. I don't know, the last storm we got was, it didn't start snowing until I rode my bike to work, and then it stopped snowing when I got there. But the rest was just rain, and it never got really below freezing, so the roads were totally mellow. But I guess this next storm coming in could be a little worse.
Yeah, I say there's a storm coming in. We'll see how much of a storm it is.
Yeah, I was talking to Briney. It looks like there's been pretty good snow up there up on Monarch.
Oh, that's the mountains.
they said the snow was good up there.
But I really haven't done much for a couple of months here, so gotta snap out of it here.
Yeah, it was a little windy today, and my e-bike's pretty cheap, so when the wind's coming from the west in your face, you still gotta mess it. Otherwise, you go anywhere. Or, I don't know, I guess you could do the
Oh, he came in clear
total
now.
power and go 5 miles an hour.
He's on a
But
different repeater.
dude, there's so much traffic here now, it kind of sucks. Because I gotta take the main drag through town and all the way past to the hospital, and then I jet off on a side road that's full of potholes and ice, and then a bridge. And anyway, but yeah, it's not that bad. Like on a dry day, I can get there in 20 or 15 minutes. On an icy day, like 20, 25 minutes.
And kind of curve along the river there, and then cut over, and I know where it goes by the hospital and everything. I'm gonna check that out too. I haven't been over there. See the place. I talked to Ron. Ron, the dude that you talked to at the Safeway the other day. His wife's the artist down there. They live there. They're renting their place out, and then they moved into her little studio downtown. They're saving some bucks, I guess.
Yeah, so I do the same thing.
And they have
Wait, no, I do the opposite.
kind of a house over there on the north side of town. Kind of modern. They're pretty modern. Sort of getting towards the airport. Anyway, he said he talked to you. He's an old time. He's originally from Salida, so
An airport
he
near
was up here
downtown?
for a while, and then he's glad to be back down there again. It was 0KU.
Here we go. Oh, that don't do shit.
Engine 14, respond to a seizure at North Locust Street and East Colfax Avenue. To a seizure at North Locust Street and East Colfax Avenue. Time is 20:44.
Have a good night.
Copy, thank you. You have a good night, too.
Oh, that's what I forgot to do.
Team being picked up by ALS 2046.
Something about those. I did add water, but maybe not enough. Oh, I was going to ask you, I don't know if adding some vinegar in there might help.
I have my channel saved on the opposite side, so when I switch, I need to switch channels. The ABCDEF thing. Yeah, so every time I press an A, it brings up two halves. Press an E, it brings up two different other ones. But the same two as yours.
I'm just gonna call it quits. My headphones are charged. You take care, whoever you are.